The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, everyone, welcome to this week's Hangout. I'm sitting in a very cramped office here with Robert behind me.
Hello.
Hope you can all hear me okay. If you could, just let me know. Definitely want to know that everybody can hear me, so if you could just type in the box, yes, that would be great. Carolyn, welcome. And who else is here? John, welcome. Who else we got? I see more of you here, so don't be silent. This is our Hangout, our weekly Hangout meant to help everyone. Wally, welcome. You know, I guess everybody was responding to the post that we put up on Facebook, and this really is a busy day for us, and I have lots to share with you, as does Robert. We want to make sure that we're answering your questions, but this Hangout was actually oversubscribed, so I don't know why you guys are all being so silent. I see many of you here. But thank you all for coming, and you know, we like these to be kind of yo, 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 howdy, Maryland dudes, Keith Avery. So yo, yo, yo back, Keith. Welcome. So let's get right to it. You know, one of the things that Robert and I sort of pride ourselves in is having a formula. And when you master time management, salesmanship, persuasion, the technicals, you see it all up top in the formula. What happens then, systems and staff, what happens is you now have the ability to sort of print money on demand. And so that's what the graphic is about. One of the most important parts of this, it's the part that I tend to gravitate to mostly because it's sales related and I truly love learning about, is persuasion. And I want you all to, I'm leaving this slide up because I want you all to write this down. Hi, Catherine. You can't see it. Are you showing your screen? Am I showing my screen?
Should be.
It says show my screen. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So further proof that I am technically incompetent. It seems to be very persuasive this week. We had 2 webinars, and you know, both webinars, my technical abilities completely fell on their face. So thank you, Catherine, by the way, for pointing that out. So it just goes to further show you. I'm going to go back to slide 1 here for a second, just so you can see kind of the formula. So you have persuasion, you have marketing, time management, systems and staff, your mindset. Your mindset is such a critical piece of this. Salesmanship, and many of you may think salesmanship and marketing are the same. They're completely different. Technical knowledge, and when you've mastered all these areas, again, money starts coming out. And our job here, this is a no pitch zone, as you know, and our job here every week is to give you pieces of this puzzle so that you can immediately apply them and start making some money. So who was here last week, just by the way, that actually applied something they learned? I'd love to know that. Just say yes. Yes or no. While you're typing in, so Carolyn, last week or 2 weeks ago, if so, yes, that's right, 2 weeks, because Robert decided to take a marketing vacation in Florida. And so missed you guys, actually. I forgot it was 2 weeks, Robert. You know that?
Yeah, I'd forgotten too.
Okay. So I'm leaving this slide up very intentionally because I want you all to be able to write this down. And this one sentence is so critical to your success. And if you can just write down this one sentence, it's 27 words, and keep it with you at all times, you will succeed. I know that's a pretty big claim, but I want to, on this Hangout, aside from answering your questions, and if you stay to the end of this, I have a special opportunity. And Robert, I'm going to ask you, if you could, to edit out the end of this.
Okay.
Would that take you too long?
No.
Okay. Because I want to give people an incentive for coming here live. Okay. If people don't come here live, I don't want them to have the same benefit. So we're going to cut out the special offer for those of you that are attending live. And if anybody has a problem with that, I'm really sorry. And what I'm going to say right now is kind of harsh. If that's a problem for you, we prefer that you attend live And if you don't like the tone of the way I'm saying it, just hit unsubscribe and we'll get out of your life permanently. Because we only want serious people here who are looking to succeed. So I think Robert just smacked me in the head. He didn't like me saying that. So people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. So I'm going to leave it up here just for another second. Write it down fast. People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Folks, this is a key to a kingdom. And it doesn't matter whether you're trying to sell someone a website or a pair of shoes, or you're trying to convince your spouse or significant other where to go for dinner. This works. Why don't you pull your chair up here, and that way you don't have to pace. We're not having a baby. So I'm going to move on. I want to break this down for you step by step by step. Everybody have it written down? Say yes or no. Well, actually, type yes or no. You can't say yes or no because you're all muted. Okay. Yes, yes. Keith, how about the rest of you? Got it? Everybody got it? Sidra, welcome. Yolanda, welcome. Wally, you got it? Good. Okay. Wally's laughing out loud. Steve Tuttle screen capture. That's pretty slick. Okay. That's pretty smart.
That's what I would have done.
Good. Okay. So let's dig in, folks, and let's talk about each of these. Okay. And really, you know, I debated because Robert and I have coaching clients that we coach with. We have consulting clients that we consult to. And this is pretty high level stuff. You know, this is pretty like deep, blow your mind kind of stuff. And I don't think you're going to see anybody cover it, period, but you're certainly not going to see anybody cover it just for their members. So let's talk about encouraging their dreams. So when you encourage someone's dreams, you need to show them what life will be like after your solution. You have to make them visualize it. And you've seen in a lot of my copy that sort of verbiage. Imagine what life will be like once you do have clients chasing you. It turns out to be like a dream. Many of you may relate. Say yes if you've seen me say that or remember me saying that. And you have to show them that it could become real no matter where they're stuck right now. Okay? And a great way to do this is to tell your story. So you all know my story. My story was struggling mortgage banker, barely graduated high school, becomes very successful, partners with Dan Kennedy, sells, grows 3 businesses in a couple years to multi-millions of dollars, sells one for over $1 million, wakes up one morning and sees that everything's gone and has to reinvent. So that's an interesting story. So I'm encouraging your dreams. I'm saying you can do this. You see, remember, think about the webinar for Ultimate Market Takeover and how many times in there I said to you, if you watched it, you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. Remember me saying, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So justify their failures. You always want to tell someone it's not your fault. It's not your fault that your website sucks. It's your, because you just don't know these things. It's not your fault that you don't know about your reputation online because no one's ever helped you. So, I'm trying to make it applicable to what we do. They just don't know these secrets. See, the word secret, and you want to write this down, the word secret's probably one of the most powerful words in the English language, maybe tied with free, okay? Secrets. Everybody wants to know the secrets, and everybody thinks there are secrets. And, I'm going to share something with you. It's really important. The more information you give everyone, the more they think you're holding something back. It's very, very, very counterintuitive. So we have a coaching client, and he asked me if I was insane to give away as much free information as I give, and Robert give away as much free information as he gives. Well, the reality is the more information we give, really the more people think we're holding back. So you always want to tell people it's not your fault. They just don't know these secrets. It's a conspiracy. The big guys are keeping this from you so that they don't succeed. And if they could do this one secret thing, or have this one magic button, or have this one little trick to SEO or PPC or whatever in the end you're using, it absolutely could change the game. Once again, tell your story. I was here until I discovered X, and now I am at Y. You've seen me use that over and over again. You have to allay their fears. And look, let's be honest, okay? Part of why many of you were able to come into Ultimate Market Takeover is because we gave you a full year to try it. A full year, okay? Again, very, very counterintuitive. But in this economic climate that we're in, no one can afford to make a mistake. One way to allay their fears is to use testimonials of others like them, because nobody believes what you say, but everybody believes what others like them say about you. So use testimonials, use stories, okay? Use guarantees. I don't even call an order form an order form. I call it a no-risk test drive form for a reason, because that's what plants in their brain consciously and subconsciously. Your mind's working in both levels, by the way, all the time. Show them results in advance. We have what do you want to call it, a module of our business right now where we are actually being paid on performance only, okay? Showing them results in advance. Take a $1 test drive. Gee, now why do you want somebody to take a $1 test drive? Now, a lot of gurus are going to be mad at me, but I'm going to share this with you. The reason people offer you a $1 test drive and not a free test drive is so they get your credit card and hope you are happy, and they can now charge that card every single month for whatever you've signed up for. So does all this make sense to you so far?
Have we ever talked about our guarantee that we tend to offer our website clients?
Does anybody want to hear about that? I don't know. They're all mute. So I guess they don't want to hear about it. Can't hear Robert real well.
Yeah, I'm a little further away from the mic.
If he gets any closer, I'm going to smack him.
We offer a guarantee to our clients for websites and for most of our products that we offer to local clients. So basically, we give them a no questions asked 30-day 100% money back guarantee. So, and we counter that by requiring all payment up front. So they have to pay us the full amount up front. But if any time within 30 days, for any reason, they're not happy, they can get their money back, and we'll just stop work on the project. And that was Brian's idea when I came into the business and became partners with him. He told me that that's usually how he did things, and that worried me a little bit at first, just because when we first started out, we were trying to get clients, we were building things up, and my worry was, what if we do a lot of work and spend a lot of money and time and effort on a client, and they change their mind and want their money back for no good reason. And but the thing is, that kind of guarantee ends up getting a lot more clients in the long run, and allows you to get the money all up front, which is nice for a couple reasons. Not only is it nice to get the money up front, but clients tend to drag their feet a lot, we've noticed. You'll build everything for them. You'll say, we're ready to go. We just need these couple pieces of information. And then you wait on them, and you contact them and say, hey, we need this information. And they say, we'll get it to you. And then before you know it, months have gone by. And if you haven't gotten all that money up front, you're still waiting for them in order to get your final payment. And this alleviates that. So it basically lets us get the money up front and allays all their fears in a way that makes them comfortable to give us all the money up front.
And how many of those refunds have we had to give, Robert?
0.
Right. And that's in over a year. Over a year now, we've given 0 refunds. And actually, the year before Robert and I were partners, okay, I did have 1 refund. And the reason I had a refund is because I sold a towing company a mobile website, and then the guy got home and his wife kind of like reamed him because they already had a mobile website. And he didn't even know about it. So good. So Sidra thinks that's a brilliant idea. Excellent. So we've covered, yeah, Carolyn, it is a stat that's hard to ignore. And it's a very, very important one. So next, we've got confirm their suspicions. It's kind of what we tell reputation management customers. The reality is if you have no bad reviews, that's not even realistic. Superman even has a bad review. Not everybody likes Superman. So keep going like how you're breaking it down. So thanks, Brian Saviano. Confirm their suspicions. Nothing and no one is ever perfect. And so you always want to try to admit some kind of flaw. You want to show them the big boys are keeping this secret to themselves, which is what they think anyway, okay? Remember we just said they all believe there's some secret, and a magic button, or a little, mobile fairy that you go hocus pocus and everything's fine.
They can see, they search in the search results and they see that they're not at the top, but they see other people are. So they know that they're doing that. Those other people, those big companies that are ranking 1 through 3 in the search results, they're doing something that I'm not. And
or they know something that I don't.
They know something that I don't. And so, they're looking to us to provide that solution. They know that we know the secrets to getting a top ranking. And so that's why they're with us, and we can confirm their suspicions. Yes, these guys are doing something that you're not, and we can help you do the same thing.
It's great. And I'll tell you that I was talking to a client Monday, and the client said, well, how do you do that? And I said, well, we've got secret sauce. He said, well, that's like lame. What does that mean? That's like a bullshit answer. What's secret sauce? I said, well, the truth is we have secret sauce, and if I told you about our secret sauce, I'd have to kill you. So I turned it into a joke. Meanwhile, I never told him what we do, and I said, really, what's it matter? Does it even matter if I'm standing out on the street corner with a sign pointing to your shop? I mean, what do you care as long as you know that and you're able to track that we're bringing you in clients? Do you care if I'm at a football game and I have a tattoo on my head with your phone number on it? I mean, really, does it matter? All you're judging us on is how we're bringing you clients, so don't worry about our secret sauce. And that just, got them all hot and bothered, okay? Show them why everything else they're trying doesn't work, and don't just say it, prove it. And you see us doing that a lot with mock-ups. So I'm going to move on. I mean, Brian Saviano actually, who is on this call and is a member of our elite coaching program, Brian actually saw me spend 2 days delivering these secrets. And what did we charge, Brian? It was like $2,500. So you guys are getting some good value here, I hope. Help them throw rocks at their enemies, okay? And once you're able to find the common enemy, give them the stones to start throwing at these common enemies. Now, a common enemy could be a association. It could be a law. It could be a governmental agency. It could be a big box competitor who's like sucking up everybody in the market, okay? You want to find that common problem that needs to be overcome. And I'm going to tell you, never be afraid to take a stand. The people that you offend weren't buyers anyway. I wish we were on video and you could see Robert just cringe, because I said earlier on, and this is a perfect example of it, okay? What I say earlier on, I said, Robert, please, at the end of this, delete the last couple minutes where I'm going to make a very special offer to everyone who is serious and took the time to be on here. Now, I know and I realize that people have unforeseen circumstances, life happens, lots of things happen. But you see, and what did I say? I said, I don't care if it offends people. If it offends you, hit the unsubscribe button. So that's a perfect example. Okay, I took a stand, and the people that like me now like me more, and the people that hate me weren't buying from me anyway. And I promise you, people will unsubscribe, and I promise you, the people who do unsubscribe, Robert and I will look very carefully in our Get Response account, and I promise you, they will not have been buyers. He's still cringing, by the way. I wish we could turn the video on. Okay. But I'm not afraid to take a stand. I am who I am, and the people love me. And if they don't love me, don't love me. And that's okay. I'm not right for everybody. Here's an example, by the way, that even bad publicity is good. So in the mortgage business, the big enemy of all of us in the mortgage business is HUD, which is a governmental agency, Department of Housing and Urban Development. I'm going to tell you all a real quick story. Okay. Years ago, when I had my training business, HUD came around and smacked a $100,000 fine on me. And they made it very, very public that they were going over me, that they were going after me. And it was in all the media and all the industry publications, and it was a big to-do. So now I didn't think HUD was right. And so I immediately went to my list, which was like 130,000 people, and I said, hey, HUD's coming after me. We all hate HUD. And here's why HUD's coming after me. And the guy at HUD has no idea what he's talking about. And if you want to contribute to my legal defense fund, I'll fight HUD on behalf of all of us. Okay? And in the end, I settled with HUD for a $1,500 extortion fee is what I like to call it, and no admission of guilt or liability. And HUD then sent me a letter that said my courses have been reviewed because they subpoenaed all this stuff from me. And it said, the letter said that we've reviewed all of your materials. We find everything to be acceptable except for this one page, which I agreed to take out. And, and then a bunch of blah, blah, blah. And so I then went, and so even that bad publicity was really good because during that time, we sold more of our systems than we had ever before. And you would sell more of your product than ever before. You know, the big common enemy in our space may be a particular company, or it may be a particular governmental agency. I know all of us are offering different kinds of services, but what I did was I then put the HUD stamp of approval on all of my courses and all of my marketing materials, saying that my course was and my system was the only one in the industry that had been reviewed and approved by HUD. Well, HUD saw that, and they said, we did not ever give you permission to use our logo or say that we had approved your system. And I said, well, actually you did, and here's the letter, and it says that we have reviewed and approved your system. And so you want to fight round two, bring it on. And never heard from them again. That was 10 years ago. So, help people throw rocks at their common enemies. So I'm going to actually stop there because I think we've broken everything down, and I'm going to open it up to any questions. Type any questions you have in the question box. I can only take a couple of them. So Carolyn says, this is great, thanks. Well, you're welcome. Anybody have any questions on that? Looks like we've got a bunch of mutes, Robert.
It's that way.
Anybody else? Anybody have any feedback, comments? Yes, hang on while I type more. Anybody else in the group have anything they want to comment on? Did everybody learn something? Hope you learned a lot because, what I've just shared with you, honestly, is really, really powerful information. That one 27-word sentence, and I'm going to go back to it because I know some people just came on, okay? But here it is, okay? People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. So Keith says, great perspective. And Kevin says, will there be a replay? So I'm going to tell you there will be a replay, at least we try to. And we always have these replays in the local client formula, which is sort of the brand that Robert and I are trying to create. but I will tell you, due to my technical inabilities, sometimes it doesn't always work. Carolyn says, if we're talking with a professional niche, what would be an example of a common enemy? Well, I gave you one, Carolyn, in terms of like loan officers and HUD, and even realtors and HUD. But every group, so, like we're dealing in the automotive aftermarket, and, a common enemy for them may be OSHA. It doesn't matter, or a common enemy from them. You have to go into the niche, and, I'm always telling you about really understanding that niche. Sidra says that really helped me in positioning with the prospects. Great mindset. Carolyn wants to know, is it a common enemy or just their enemy? It's their common enemy. Hang on one second, Robert. Brad says, can you display the justify their failures slide again? Keith, Kevin says nothing. Wally, having trouble imagining the common enemy. So, for example, web designers, what's the common enemy? Well, it could be reach local as a common enemy. It could be one-on-one, or one of these sites that for like no money allows you to build a website on their platform. It could be any of those things. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, and well, for web designers, like if I was trying to pitch to web designers, I guess common enemy could be like one-on-one hosting. I guess I see their commercials all the time. Like, it's so easy to build a website. Just click here and click here, and the websites look terrible. I always tell my wife that. I'm always like, look at those sites; they're so bad. But in our niche, for example, the automotive aftermarket niche, I feel like, as most of you know, we focus mostly on mom and pop stores, smaller companies. So for a tire store, for example, the common enemy could be something like NTB, the national chain, and we can say, look, the NTB is your enemy, and here's how we can help you fight with them, compete with them.
Well, we say it actually. We say to them that, look, you're not going to compete with them on radio ads. You're not going to compete with them on TV ads. You're not going to compete with them in print ads. You're not going to compete with them in direct mail, but you can compete with them with mobile. So they have a mobile website and they're being found. You could have a mobile website and be found. You could get pay-per-click. You could even have a mobile app. Mobile is like the ultimate leveler of the playing field.
And yes, GoDaddy is an enemy of web designers, Catherine. GoDaddy drives me crazy with their bad service and bad platform.
Okay. So, wanted to shift gears here. Hope you all learned a little bit from that. And I want to tell you kind of what we're working on. And this is actually the part, Robert, if you can edit this.
Sure.
Okay. We're working on 2 programs right now. One of them is a direct mail campaign. And actually the way we're doing this, it's called the Clients on Demand system. And what we're actually going to give you are tested and proven marketing pieces of a direct mail campaign, starting with the envelope and all of the components. We're then going to also give you the order forms, because lots of people know how to get responses, but I haven't seen anybody talk about conversion. So you get the response. What do you do now? Well, if you got a bunch of great responses, did you have a great direct mail campaign? I don't think so. I judge it by I invested $1 and got back 3, which means you need to be able to convert. So we're going over all sorts of response devices. So we're I wanted to be able to do this. We all know the parable of teach a man to fish, and he can fish for a lifetime, give a man a fish, and he'll starve to death next week. And I'm sure I screwed that up somehow, but that's the concept, okay? And, Robert and I wanted to go one better. We want to give you the fish. We want to teach you how to fish, and so we're going to break down all the psychology. If you thought you liked this, you're going to love that, okay? And then we're actually going to put a nice napkin on you. We're going to saute and cook the fish. We're going to cut up the fish so there's no bones, and then we're going to feed it to you. And we're going to do that so that you can now start doing these on your own for any service, any product, anything you do. We're actually going to give you a skill, okay? And now you can turn around and start doing these for your clients. So we're going to give you what works, then we're going to show you why and how it works so you can start doing it too. The other program is really sort of a result of my ADHD. And so I came in the other day, and I posted this in the Facebook group. I came in the other day to finish the sales letter portion of the Clients on Demand and work on the webinar and everything else to sell it. And out of me sort of came this entirely new program that had nothing to do with Clients on Demand called Instant Sales Army. And this is a program all about how Robert and I literally have an army of salespeople working for us without us spending one penny to hire them, without us spending one penny in employment ads or Craigslist posts or any of this other stuff or monster ads, and without us paying these salespeople one penny until they perform. And so only for people on, and by the way, neither of these programs is ready to be sold yet, okay? They're still in development, but they're good enough for you to be able to see them. And I only can handle like 3 or 4 people for each of these to give us a review. And now there's the catch so that we're all clear, okay? The catch is that you have to send an email to support@localclientformula.com with the header, tester, and which system. You can't have both. You got to choose one. And in return, you will have to provide 2 to 3 minute video review. Now, if you think it sucks and it's horrible, say that too. We'll just edit it. I'm teasing. But, you know, we would like to feature those reviews in the testimonial section. And by the way, we just gave you another tactic, didn't we? So, you know, if you are missing, describe the differences. 2 programs again, please. One of them is Instant Sales Army, which is how to have an instant army of salespeople without spending a penny on ads, without paying 10 cents in, Monster or Craigslist posts, and how to have these people, a constant stream of these people selling for you, and you only having to pay them when they perform. The other, I don't want to take any more time here. Go with the one you think you might want to review best. We're only going to be able to take a few people for each, no more than 4 for each. So send a ticket to support@localclientformula.com. You know, now that I think about it, I went through this whole part, Robert, of being rude and saying if you're not on here, don't worry about it, just edit it. You know what? You don't even have to edit it because I know I've already got 4 for each, by the way. So don't worry about it. You don't have to edit it. People, if you're watching the replay of this, you missed it, okay? So you want to get on these replays, and you want to make sure we're providing value. So sorry, we don't have to edit anything. Again, you are committing, just so you know, you got to tell us which one you want in the header, and you have to send us a 2 to 3 minute video. So let's move on. I want to give you all a big time management idea, okay? Big time management idea. And I promised in our Facebook group yesterday that I would. And, many of us get stuck. And, I mean, we could spend days just talking about time management. You know, one of my dreams is to have an event and have all of you in the audience because I love teaching, as you can see. But this is what sort of happens, okay? If you create something, and as I do and Robert does, and then you announce it publicly, now you have to make it happen because you've already announced it. So if I go to all my friends and saying, beginning of the year, I'm going to stop smoking, well, I better stop smoking. And by the way, I'm not going to stop smoking, so you can get that out of your brain. But I would have committed to it publicly. So when you start committing to things publicly, believe it or not, some force inside of you goes to work to make sure that those things do in fact happen. So if you want to make something happen and you seem a little stuck, set a goal for yourself, announce it publicly to everybody on your Facebook page and everybody in your family, and go into Ultimate Market Takeover if you're a member, or go into Local Client Formula if you are not yet a member of Ultimate Market Takeover, and mine bounce. Support at localclientformula.com. That should be it.
Yeah.
Why'd it bounce?
No idea.
You better check it out.
All right. Could you, Sidder, could you forward the bounce email to Robert at trackableresponse.com? And I'll take a look.
Damn webmasters.
If for anybody else that gets a bounce, you can also send it to support at ultimatemarkettakeover.com, and I'll get that, and I'll make sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll look into that. I'm sorry about the bouncing. Let's do it to support at ultimatemarkettakeover.com.
So here's another lesson for you. Never trust your webmaster, okay? Always make sure that you test. So Ronald Reagan was very famous for saying, trust but verify. So it's interesting. Actually, let's come clean, huh?
I've received everybody's messages.
So why do they think it's bouncing?
Well, it must have bounced and received it. You know, it's set up with forwarders, and so it looks like we received everybody's emails. So that's good. So don't
why
worry
don't you tell them whose you've received?
Everybody that said it's got received: Wally's, John, Buford, Catherine, Kevin, Steve, Sidra. That's all so far.
Okay. Did you get mine, Carolyn?
So I don't know. Thank you for typing that, Catherine. I'll figure it out. But anyway, we did. It looks like we did get the emails. It must have been some other reason that it bounced.
So really, I mean, this is a lesson for all of you. Never assume. When you assume, you make an ass of you and me. See, Catherine says, see, webmasters are good people. You got a fan there, Robert.
Thank you.
I'm not joking, but you really do need to trust. So Robert, I asked Robert if he could set this up in anticipation of our meeting, and Robert did set it up. And, apparently there's a glitch in it somewhere. And it's working, but there are glitches. So you always want to make sure before you deliver anything. So I guess I'm preaching, but I didn't follow my own advice on this. But okay, here we go. Trust and verify. That's right. Now, Carolyn, you're all allowed to ask questions here. And Carolyn, this is like the second time in a row, she likes to ask like 12 questions. So welcome, Carolyn.
That's great. That's a great thing.
Welcome. I'm happy about it, by the way. So she's just sent me a smiley face. So what's included in your local domination package? I appreciate the mobile client capture system as a model, and I used it in a proposal this week for an attorney. They gave me what they wanted to talk about, SEO, PPC, etc. But when I shared what was within the budget proposed, I used that verbiage. Do you know that's the one thing they have repeatedly emailed me back about, trying to guess what it is? They will never, ever hear mobile website out of my lips. So God bless you, Carolyn. That's exactly right. Look, it doesn't matter what's in a local domination package. You can put whatever services you want in a local domination package. Look, here's what this is all about. And for those of you who missed it, it's a good lesson. Instead of having first of all, you want to have two plans. You want to have plan A and you want to have plan B, so that you're always giving your buyer a choice of, I'll take A or B, not a choice of, I want this or I want nothing. That will just automatically increase your sales. You've changed their thinking. But so basically it's having a basic package and a deluxe, but we don't call it basic and deluxe. We call it something with benefits. And the benefit is, and this all goes back to a conversation I shared with our members of Ultimate Market Takeover. And by the way, who in here is a member of Ultimate Market Takeover and who isn't? I'm just curious. Just say yes or no. So Carolyn, I know you are. Wally is. Who else? Yes. Sidra is. Yep, she sure is. Buford is, and he gave us a great video. Who else? If you're not, it's no problem. But I'm just curious, how many of you are or are not members of UltimateMarketTakeover.com? So great, Patricia. Brian Saviano, yep. Who else? No, John Sullivan is not, but that's okay. So, who else? Keep them coming, guys. I'm just curious. So it looks like the majority of you, Larry is not. I emailed support. It came back error. Greg Montoya. Well, my webmaster is going to fix that.
We got your email, Greg. So we did get it.
Okay, great. So several of you are not. Good majority of you are, but in the Ultimate Market Takeover, I think it was, I posted, and if you're not, go to ultimatemarkettakeover.com. So I'm sorry, I promise this wouldn't be a pitch zone, so I'm not going to tell you more about it than it is, but we have the local, just to sort of tell you, we have this local client formula area, and then we also have a private area for members of our Ultimate Market Takeover, and sometimes discussions just happen in Ultimate Market Takeover, more advanced discussions. But in Ultimate Market Takeover, I told you about going to a Harley-Davidson meeting, Association of Harley Dealers, and I offered these two programs, and one of them was called Get More Customers, and the other one was, Dominate Your Market. So, sorry about that. Somebody really wants to reach us. And so, again, we were giving them a choice of two different programs, both of those programs playing on ego. And Get More Customers was like a mobile website and a sales robot page and reputation management. What else was in there? It was like texting platform and some other things. But if you were going to take the Dominate My Market, see how that plays on ego? And so if you were taking the Dominate My Market, you got all those things, but then we also gave you a customized mobile app and some pay-per-click and some other stuff, right? So, that's the difference. Carolyn, don't get hung up on it. You make the package whatever you want. All I was trying to get a point out is what to call it. So I hope that makes sense. Question 2. Now that I have what I think is my niche, how specific do I get? Meaning, you focus on, let's say, tire stores in your elevator speech. Well, this is really sort of a matter of personal preference to a degree. You say that you work in the aftermarket car accessories, which gives you a lot of wiggle room. So you're not saying we work with tire stores, right? Well, you want to go into figure out sort of how competitive it is. I mean, what we've done is we've gone in and said we are the #1 expert in the automotive aftermarket. Now, that includes tire stores. It includes glass repair. It includes, lots of things that happen after a car is sold. In some niches, you're going to have to get more specific. So, like if I was going in the dental niche, I might go for periodontists, not just dentists, because it's a little too competitive, okay? It really depends on the situation and depends on the niche. I spoke to one of our members a few weeks ago, and she was going into the alternative health market. Well, we were able to drill down in that alternative health market, and I can say it publicly because she posted it publicly, but she was actually going after midwives. I had worked with her on that 101 that comes with the Ultimate Market Takeover system, and we were able to drill down that precisely. So there are like chiropractors are alternative health. There are health food stores. There are acupuncturists. There's a whole group of them. But we were able to narrow it down just to midwives, which is, really, or birthing coaches. Question 3. Now that I've worked with getting my authority signed up as Apple developer and Google Engage, and we talked about that if you are new, and we get lots of new members each week here, you might want to go back and look at a replay because I think we covered that 2 weeks ago. How do I pick an association? In my niche, it seems that they are only open for people who are licensed for that profession. How can I join as a member and be able to say fellow member? Is this a question better suited for a one-on-one? So, no, it's a perfect question. That's why I put it up here. Every association I've ever run into has what they call an associate or affiliate membership, and that membership is typically significantly cheaper, usually like a fraction. So if membership in the association for a practitioner or business owner is $500, it may be $150 or $200 for that association or associate or affiliate or vendor. They call it different things. But it's always significantly cheaper. And because you don't really need all the benefits. And every one, Carolyn, of the associations that I've ever run into offers this. So, we've gone now for a straight 45 minutes. I'm going to open it up for questions, and I'm going to just go all the way back to this slide so that you all can continue to copy this. So let me open it. How do I open it? How do I open Brian?
Open what?
Let him talk.
Oh, go to attendee list. Scroll up to Brian. And unmute him.
All right, Brian, you're unmuted. He has no mic, so let's mute him back. Okay. So Brian has no mic, but he says, how many members minimum would you say the association has to have for you to join? Well, look, I would say hundreds to thousands, if that's helpful. But it really depends on the transaction size. In that direct mailing, we mailed to a 103-member local association list, and we were able to bring back $318 and like 92 or 93 cents. And it cost us $150 to join that association. Was that $150 worth it? Absolutely. It's really hard to tell, but I would say pretty much any association, Brian, because really the truth is that association can't even support itself unless it has a certain level of interaction and membership. So I wouldn't worry about it. But, most of them have hundreds to really thousands. Not sure how well you're going to do with ones that have hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands, but, hundreds to thousands. Look, the truth is, with most associations, only 30 to 40% of the possible candidates ever really join and get active in an association. So maybe that's useful. Did that answer your question, Brian? Yes, sir. So thank you. Thank you for calling me, sir. Any other questions? Anybody have a success story they want to share or a challenge they'd like help overcoming? So, Robert, can you confirm with all these bounced emails how many that we have enough people signed up for instant? And we do?
Yes, we have.
For both?
We have received more than enough for both systems.
Okay, awesome. And, okay, since I don't think anybody has any additional questions, we'll catch you next week on the Hangout. Let me know if type in here, or actually, you know what? Do this. Go to the Facebook page that you are a part of, whether it's Ultimate Market Takeover, if you remember, or Local Client Formula, and start sharing what you got from this webinar. If you liked it, you hated it, give us your unbiased, unvarnished feedback. I thank you all for being here. This will conclude the webinar. Robert's pointing for me. Any words of wisdom you want to say in conclusion?
Just thanks for being here, and I enjoyed this this Hangout a lot. And I look forward to seeing you all next week.
Oh, we forgot something really important. Tonight, we are interviewing two really, really sharp marketers. And look, if you've been on our list for any period of time, we're not big WSO pitch guys, okay? But we do like to share things as we discover them, and we like to share them with you just like we did here. So if you go into your Facebook groups while you're in there talking about what you did or didn't like here, or what you learned or didn't learn, or what you can use or aren't using, go into Local Client Formula Ultimate Market Takeover. You'll see a link to tonight's webinar. It's at 7 Eastern. And these two guys are doing some really, really cool stuff. And I hope you guys can make it. And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do a replay or not. We haven't even really talked to them about a replay, but we may not. But it's 7 o'clock tonight, and you all know if I'm the one doing the recording, you probably won't have a recording of it because, you see how technically in-depth I am. Brian, you want to say something? You raised your hand. Go ahead, say it. You can't say it, haha, because you don't have a mic. But go ahead, type it in. And, you know, I have to tell you something, folks. In my absence and in Robert's absence, Brian Saviano really is kind of our go-to guy. Brian is someone that we are working with very closely one-on-one in a coaching mentoring, and he truly is a very, very sharp marketer and a rock star. So you really do want to, he says here, I thought it was 5 Central. Raised my hand by mistake. Thanks for the compliment. Well, Brian, you know, I don't dish out compliments easy. You've known me long enough. So really, really proud of Brian. And I'm proud of some of our other coaching clients as well that are making lots of progress. But really, really proud of Brian and seeing what he's doing. So I thank you all. Hope you can make it tonight, and see you later.